Hello everyone, welcome back. Now we are into the last section of our frameworks project. Basically, here we are going to see how to run the code using pom.xml file, that is through Maven test case. And after this, we will see how to configure the Maven to our environment space. And once it's configured, then we'll see how we can run through the command prompt. Again, also we'll see here how we'll create this run, basically run dot, you can say run.bat file. You'll see how we can create that. And once all of these things are done, then we'll integrate our the code is already there in GitHub. So just you can put your code to the GitHub. And after that, we will run the complete test case in Jenkins. So in short, you can say it's in this video, we are going to see how to run test case using the Maven project structure and using that pom.xml file, as well as how we can run the complete project on Eclipse. That two things we'll see in this, and that's the last part of our frameworks. Now let's begin. So as you see, the screen is in the screen that here I have added few plugins. Now before this, we added only dependencies. So in my first few videos, you have seen when we are adding the dependencies, and there I said we are going to add things based on our requirement. So here we come up with this requirement that we have to add plugins. And why to add these plugins? Because if straight away you want to run the test case using pom.xml file, you can run that. So you see what things we are adding here in this plugin. So first we use this build tag, and after that in this plugin management, inside this plugin management tag, we go with the plugins. Now it's very important to know about these tags, like these tags we use in this sequence. Then we go for the plugin. So first plugin is basically for mobile Maven compiler plugin. So basically here we are compiling, or you can say basically here this is used to compile when for terms of compiling we use this plugins, and the next one is to run the Maven code. Here I have added one thing that is configuration. So in this configuration, if you see, I have added few tabs like suite XML files. So in this suite XML file, basically we add the name of the XML that we are going to run here. So very simple, just we have to add these plugins. And these plugins you will get in the Maven repository website. You'll find it there easily. So once these plugins are added, now before this, we used to go to this testng.xml and we used to run from there. Now, whatever you describe there in testng.xml, just come to this maven.xml file, right click, go to Maven, and just click on this update project. Now why I'm doing this, it's like just I'm seeing we have multiple of options here for frameworks. So it's like I just select the project which I want to update, and we update this because we want to add the left out plugins. If something is left out based on the requirement, then by default that will be added to your project. So now once these plugins are added, then I go to this pm.xml file, right click here. From there, you go to run as. Now, when you go to run as, you will find these many options of Mavens available. So here in these options, straight away go to Maven test. And when you do this Maven test, now the same project, now here you see everything. It's showing each and every steps in proper way, like what plugins added, everything. And now it gets in, like it's running the complete project from here. So the same thing we used to do, that we used to divide in testng.xml. Now what you have to do is just go and do the changes, or just change the class name in testng.xml, and using this pm.xml file, you'll keep adding all your test cases. So now the complete thing is doing again, like the thing that we have done using testng.xml, we are doing it again. Now again, we get the test reports, like we run 1, failure 0, error 0, skip 0. So basically it says build successful. In fact, the time taken to build this, everything is mentioned here. Now we don't need to go and look into each and every part. Usually when we go into testng, we look which test case passed, how much time it took, all that in separately. So here everything is mentioned, as well as the build process is when executed successfully, it tells that. So just these plugins help us to do this. And these plugins, remember, these are very important because if you want to perform any task related to Maven straight away, then you can pass through this testng.xml and that thing will be executed the straight away. Got it? So now once the Maven thing is added, the plugins are added here. Now we'll see how to run this Maven through command prompt. And you know that if you are trying to run anything from the command prompt, it's very important to add the folder of that particular uh, structure. Basically here, I want to run the Maven project. So the first thing is I have to download the Maven dependence, basically the Maven jar files. So just to download this Maven jar files, I'll go to this, I'll write here Maven, or I'll write here Maven download. Okay. When I write Maven download, I go to the official website. And when I come to the official website here, I find different files related to Maven. So here I'll take the second file, that is Apache Maven 3.9.4 bin.zip. So basically this is the folder that we have to download, and that's the one that's used by the Windows system. Basically we'll download this. I've already downloaded this folder. If you see in my downloads folder, you'll find it. I've downloaded this app, Apache Maven, and I have downloaded the zip file. Now what you have to do, you have to copy this zip file, get back to your PC, and here the location where your project is. So it's like my project is inside user Truba, and I come to Selenium frameworks. So somewhere here, like this is the Eclipse framework is the workspace where my project stays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this zip file here and then unzip it. So once the zip file is added, then I need to unzip this. So just you do right click, you go extract all, and just you extract the zip file, and you'll get a folder like this. So once you have the folder inside this, you'll find the exact Maven jar files. So when you open this, you'll find all the details related to the Maven here. Now, this Maven is added to your project. That's good thing. Next, what you have to do is just open this bin folder, copy this Maven from here, and put it in program files. Now, why to put it in program files? Because we are going to set the path of this Maven. We are going to set the path where? In system environment. So if you are familiar with this thing, basically, I hope all are familiar with that, setting the path in system environment. So I copy that folder, I put it here in program files, and there is reason behind why I put it inside the program files, so that I can easily copy the steps. And it's usually the softwares that you keep inside the program files, and that's what we're doing here. Now, once you are here, next thing what you have to do, right click, go to properties, and from properties, you see here option advanced system setting. So click on this advanced system setting. It asks for certain permission. I've given that. From here, go to environment variables. In environment variables, just create two a path. When you click here, edit, first you give the variable name as M2, and then mention M2-home, give the variable name and pass the value. Now value of what? The Maven. So you go copy here the path and put it here and say OK. Now again, you will create path for the second one. Again, go to new, write new. And again, you will have here. So just you have to write here as Maven underscore home. And just you have to put the path again. Now, once these two paths are added to your environment files, what you have to do here is you have to add this thing in the path of your, you have to add some details in the path of your system, basically the environment variables. So when I click on this path, here I'll add these three lines. First one mentioning the home with / I give bin. Second one, this, where I mention M2-home. That's the name of, again, the variable, what you have given before. bin, and this one basically I'm copying the bin folder from here. Bin folder means I open the bin folder here and that's copied here. So I copy the path of this bin folder. I click here, I copy the path and I put it here. Now the reason behind why I'm putting these stuffs are just I'm trying to create the path for the system. So that's why we go to environment variables. We set the path so that we can easily run this thing from command prompt. Now at the end, do OK, OK, OK. So all the files these paths are set now. The next thing, the very next thing that you are going to do is you are going to basically open the command prompt. So I'll open the command prompt here. Now, right now, my command prompt, I'm here. If I want to move this to the specific folder where the project is. Now, the thing is that I have moved my project to GitHub. So because I have moved my project to GitHub, so the file, basically the project file is also moved to the GitHub folder. So I'll go to the users, again, the same place, and here you'll find the Git folder. In Git folder, inside repository 2, I have this, my project name, that is ITLN frameworks. So I'll copy this project name from here. Now, if your project is in framework section, in workspace section, then copy the path from there and then run it here. And if it's moved to the GitHub folder, then copy this path. Sorry. Just let me write here first cd and then pass the path and press enter. So now you are into the folder where basically your project is. Now, once you are into this folder, that means you can execute the project from there itself. So here, after doing this, write mvn test and press enter. So when you do this, you see the same way as the project was run in Eclipse, the same way it's working in the command prompt as well. So that means now no need to open the Eclipse, no need to go to the Eclipse to run the project. If you want to run the project straight away, run from the command prompt. Just know the location of your project. Once the location of project is known, after that, just you have to write mvn test. That's basically the command line to run a Maven project or just to run a Maven test case. So once you do that, the test case is performed, and at the end you'll have all the details like how many passed, how many failed, like that. So no need to move to the Eclipse. Write the code there, close the Eclipse, and you can run it straight away from here. But to run this, remember you have to follow all the steps. That means the configuration should be the same as I have mentioned. Follow each and every step as it is. If you miss any step, then it's but obvious that you are going to have errors and you'll be stuck in errors throughout the class. So it will be difficult for you to figure it out where you missed what. So exactly the same way, copy, download the Maven project, move it to the program file, set the path, and then run. I say this will run. Okay. So now we are able to run our project from Eclipse as well as from command prompt. Now what's next? The next thing is this project I have to move to GitHub. Now, I've already explained how to move any project to GitHub. If you don't know about it, then watch my video. You have one of the videos that is how to integrate your project to GitHub. I'll pass that link in the below. I'll give you the link of that video so that you can go and watch that and see how we are pushing our code from Eclipse to GitHub. So it's very simple. Just watch that and follow the same step. So the code will move from our Eclipse to GitHub. Now, in my case, I have moved that. So I'm not doing that again, because if I again follow the complete step, then in that case, it will take time. And again, that will be a different section. So it's better you watch that video. I think it's not longer. It's like it will take 5 to 10 minutes. Watch that videos, see how you can integrate from Eclipse to GitHub, and then come back here. Now, once the code is here in GitHub, few things what I'll mark here is like usually we don't focus when we do this is when you integrate this thing to GitHub, basically this pom.xml file, you will find it here. But in some cases, in some cases, not in all. Testng.xml, you miss it out. Or basically what happens, GitHub read only one XML file and take this one. It's not taking the other one, testng.xml. And you remember, without this testng.xml file, you cannot run this pm.xml file, because in plugins you have set the path for this testng.xml. So in that case, you can do one thing. You can go to add files, upload files, and take the location from your basically the location where your project is. You have seen that. Just add the file from there. Just add one file from there, that is testng.xml. So if you have not added this file, remember, you'll not be able to run this code from the GitHub. And in Jenkins, you'll face this problem. So remember that. So it's very important that you go and add that file if it's not present. If it's, then it's fine. But if it's not, then in that case, you have to do. So the complete project I have brought from Eclipse to GitHub. Now, if this thing is here, obviously we need to move to the Jenkins section and start executing the codes in all the three ways possible. That is one, where we can run straight away, where we can run straight away, you can say, the code from Eclipse, that is from our folder. Or a second, um, where you can run the code basically using the Maven project structure. And the third one will be to run the code from GitHub. So these three steps we are going to do in Eclipse, in Jenkins, basically. Now, before getting to that Jenkins, we'll do one thing. I talked about something called run.bat file. So we'll see that how to create that run.bat file. That's very important to know. So just I'll get to my Eclipse basically Eclipse framework workspace. Here I'll do right click. I'll go to new and create basically a text doc. And I'll name this as, now already I have this. So right now I'd like to delete this one because I'm creating a new one. Now here I'll say run.bat. So when I do this run.bat, so basically this bat file is created. Now to run this, basically you have to enter few datas inside it so that you can straight away run this bat file. So what you have to do after this is, after creating this and just changing the extension to .bat, you have to open your notepad. And in notepad, just you have to drag this and drop it here. Now, once you do this, run.bat command, this tab is open. So now here you have to pass details. What type of details? Details like the path of your project that is inside Git repository 2, and this is my project. So I'll give the path of the project. I'll copy this. I'll mention the path of the project, and in next line, I'll say the command that basically used to run the Maven project. Clear? So now I'll save this, and this thing is saved in run.bat. So next time when we use this run.bat, it will straight away run the code that we used to run in command prompt. That's all. And this is how we create a bat file. Now, the next thing is to use Jenkins. See, how to download Jenkins, how to install Jenkins, everything. I have done this as well in another video. I've created this video. I'll pass that link as well. But still, just I'll tell you this part, how to installation part. But it's better that you watch that video. That will help you to install Jenkins in most easiest way. And in fact, I have explained each and everything, that how to install Jenkins and how to open the server and run it every time. So just watch that video and you'll get everything from here. So right now, in my case, Jenkins is installed in my system, but still, like you see, I have my Jenkins installed here, but still I'm going to tell you a few steps that will help you to download Jenkins. Like as usual in Google, you go right, download Jenkins, and this first link, that is Jenkins download and deploy on. Click on this link. Now here, just take this generic Java package and take this one, LTS, that stands for long-term service. Don't go for this one. So click on this generic Java package. Click on this. Once you click on this, in downloads, you will find uh, in downloads, basically you will find here Jenkins.war file. Now, once Jenkins.war file is there, now what you have to do here is you have to start your command prompt, and you know this war file is in download. So I'll write cd downloads, and that means I'm into the download folders. Now right from here, java-jar jenkins.war and enter. So when I do this, see, for the very first time when you are doing this, then in this case, at the end, you will find some password. And that password you will basically put when you are trying to open the Jenkins on tab. So when there to open Jenkins on tab, remember, write localhost colon 8080. And when you press enter, the first thing that will appear on your screen is it will ask for password. And this I'm saying for the first time. So you'll copy the password and at the end of this statement. So that's why I'm saying please watch that video, because all these steps are done there. So this password, whatever the password you will get, copy, paste it here, and then you are into the Jenkins. There you will enter the username and password. Then again you will come, basically there they will ask you to install certain plugins, and that you have to click on the install button, and that Jenkins will get installed. So it's better, it will just take another 5 minutes to install your Jenkins on your system, and you just, if you watch that videos, it's obvious you will get that. Okay, so now once Jenkins is installed here, then we'll come to the Jenkins dashboard, and this is how the Jenkins dashboard looks like after installation and after the server. So remember one thing, that it's very important to start the server of Jenkins. And to start server, this command line we write java-jar jenkins.war. This is used for the installation as well for the first time, and for second time just I pass java-jar jenkins.war. Basically this is to start the server. Now the server is ready at command prompt. Just will minimize this. We are into the Jenkins screen, and remember to use Jenkins platform. It's very important to keep your server ready. Now after that, click this new button. Okay, let me sign in again. So now when I click this new button, it asks you to enter the name. So here I'll enter like IT Learn using Java or using Eclipse. Yeah, let's go this way, using Eclipse. And this time I'll select this freestyle project. I'll use Maven project structure as well, but right now I'm going with this freestyle project. I click on this freestyle project, do OK, and see the steps are very simple here. If you see, you have to do nothing. Once you have done OK, you have to come to the configuration section. That means here in description, just you can write the description, like whatever description what I'll write here, code upload from Eclipse. Cool. Straight away come down here and click on this build step and select this execute window batch command. And when you do this, then here, basically, after opening this Jenkins, here you have to put the path of, basically you have to put the path of the folder, and in fact you have to do that run.bat thing. So what you have to do here is just get back to the C drive, and from C drive user here, just take the path of the frameworks. This is my Eclipse frameworks. So I take the path of this, copy this path, put it here, and just press enter and write run.bat. So now run.bat, you remember it contains the path as well as it contains the Maven test that we are going to use. You remember we have defined that in run.bat. So here I have set the path. I have done this run.bat. I'll say apply. I'll say save and done. Nothing else to do. So what we are doing, just we go, we create our job. There we in execute window batch command. There we just write these two lines and then straight away click build now. This build now button. So when you do this, basically you'll find the details like what's happening here. You'll find it here itself. Now here it shows failure. Let me see what went wrong. Maybe this batch command. I'll check if it's working. Yeah, it's working. The batch command is working. Okay, so let's get back and see where we went wrong. And let's see the steps again. Oh, I forgot to write CD here. That's what where we went wrong. I have to write CD, apply, save. Now again do the same thing. Click build now. Now when you'll click build now, below this thing gets added over here. And this will run. So after multiple failures, I've just noticed that we have done a small mistake here. And that mistake here is that I'll go back to this run.batch file. I remember that there, just delete it and let's create it again. Because I just forgot a small thing there's to add, that is CD. But it's like if I don't create a new one and then I do, so it will be like again confusing for you. So just do right click as usual, go to new, from new come to the text doc and write there run dot and the extension give it as bat. Okay, so run that bat, this one will be created. The same way you have to create a notepad, and in this notepad just drag and drop it, and after that give CD, give this location of your project, the place where that project is, and after that in next step write mvn test and save this. Now let's get back to our Eclipse. Sorry, let's get back to our Jenkins, and in configure the steps are same, so I have not changed anything in configure, just I have added CD that I showed you before. So this CD and the location of that frameworks, and then I wrote this run.batch. So I say apply, I say save, and now go to build now, and you see this particular process will run as it is to run. So here I go, I open the console window. Now you see Chrome is started and the test case is working. So that was the small mistake that I remembered that I did wrong in run.batch, is like just I copied the path and put it, but I forgot to write CD there. So it's very important to write CD because that will take us to that particular location. And if you open that run.batch thing, that opens basically in a terminal. So if you are working in terminal, it's very important to go to that specific folder and then perform test accordingly. So now this you see here, it says test run 1, failure 0, error 0. And that's how the code works using the run.bat file. Now this is one way. Now I told you the next way will be the Maven project structure way. Now for Maven project structure, when you are using Jenkins for the first time, then you have to follow few steps. Like you have to go to this manage Jenkins. From manage Jenkins, you have to go to plugins. And then here you have to search for Maven. And now, once you are into the plugins, in the newest version of Jenkins, you have to click on this available plugins. And then write Maven. Basically, in my case, it's already installed. So I'll write here Maven integration plugins. So in your case, if it's not installed, then go to available plugins, There search for this Maven integration plugins and install it as it is. So if anything missing, we'll install here. So remember this, go to manage Jenkins, from there to plugins, go to install plugins, search for this Maven integration plugins. Once that search, it's installed to your Jenkins. After this, you need to set path of two things. Now this we are doing when we are trying to run a Maven project in Jenkins. The first one was where we are trying to run straight away from Eclipse. So just we run that run.bat command. So that made us to run straight away from Eclipse. This helped us. This is helping us to run the Maven project structure. Now after downloading the plugins, you need to go to this tool, and in this tool you have to do two things. First, you have to give certain name. Like I have not given any name here, so it's fine. So for JDK, you go to JDK, and here you give the name of the JDK, as well as give the name of JDK and set the path of JDK. The path of JDK, if you'll find in my case, the JDK stays there in C drive. And you remember I told you before that all the required path or the files I keep inside the program files, because that's helpful. So here I get the path of JDK. You need to put the path of JDK. For JDK, you have to put this path. Same in future you have to do for like Maven. So when you go to this Maven, you click this, and this takes the Maven details. So you have to give a certain name. After that, take the path of Maven and apply and save it. So just you have to do two things. In Manage Jenkins, you have to set the path of JDK, as well as you have to set the path of Maven. Once this is done, now let's get back to our dashboard and create the Maven project structure. So here you'll select, now here let me name the project. I'll name it as IT Learn Maven. Now click this Maven project, go to OK, and here you'll write just write the message description, that is, this is Maven project structure. Fine. After this, what you have to do here is, now pom.xml is already defined here. Okay, pom.xml is defined for this particular for Maven structure. Okay, now the next thing here is you have to also write the goal. The goal is to clean test. Okay, and here you have to do a small changes, that is in pom.xml file. Basically you have to give the path of the complete project that comes up with the pom.xml file. So if you find it here in C drive, in my case here inside Git, I see inside Git the in repository 2, this is my path, and inside this path I have pom.xml file. So I copy this path, I put this path here and give / here. Now pom.xml file is stored. Now this is the location where you have this framework project, and because you are running it with Maven project structure. So remember, when we run in Eclipse, and if we want to run it with the Maven project structure, then in that case we did right click, we went to pom.xml, we did the right click, and then we select that run Maven test. So the command line to run this pom.xml file is clean test. Just after doing this, apply, save it, and as usual, go to build now. So when you build this, the schedule is mentioned, and if you want to see the details what's happening in build, you'll find a small drop down here, like you see it here. You'll find this small drop down. Like I also lost it. Yeah, it's here. So from here, you come to the console output and you see the steps are happening and this Chrome is successfully started. Now I'm testing this in Jenkins using Maven project structure. Now you see the process of Jenkins, how it's interesting. Jenkins is doing all the task of testing. Just what you have to do, you have to pass the locations, or basically you have to pass the path of your projects that you have done in your system. No need to go to the Eclipse and watch things. Straight away, you will have all your details here as usual. So anywhere, anyone in team members can easily watch your test case happening and just see that whether just they come, they run, they build the test case, they build your job which you have created, and they will get all these details here. That's how the story is. Okay. Now comes the third one, and that one is interesting. That is how to run a test case from GitHub. So go to your repository. In your repository, this is your project. Now this one is interesting. Here also you have to follow few steps, like you have to download Git. Now Git and GitHub, now for that details, again, you can go and watch videos for that. Right now, just I have to do is I have to download Git. And downloading Git is the most easiest thing to download. That is, go to Git downloads, click on Windows, and this will help you to download the Git file. And again, I have this Git file in my downloads folder that is here. What you have to do is just double click on this folder and it will say, it will ask for options. Just do next, 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 next. Keep doing till it's installed and nothing else. Now let's get back to our Jenkins. Go to manage files. From manage file, go to this tool section again. In tool section, when you come to this Git, here you need to add the path of Git folder. And as usual, my Git will be in C drive, program files, go to this Git. By default, you'll find this git.exe. So this thing you'll find it by default, and just go to this Git folder, copy this Git folder path, and as well as add this bin folder, copy this path, and put it here with / git.exe. So now the path of Git is also set. The next thing what we have to do is just we have to create a new job. That is, this time I'll say IT learn using Git, or I say IT learn project with Git. Okay. Now I go with this Maven project structure. Now this time I'll go with the Maven project structure because the code that I've uploaded there in Git, that is in Maven project structure. Again, I'll write a description here. Uploading the code from Git. Now here comes to this source code management section. Click on this Git. Once you click on this Git, then in that case, it asks for repository URL. Get back to your GitHub, click on code. Here you get the repository link, copy this, get back to Jenkins, paste it over here. And I hope it's done. Now after this, you have to add few steps. Rest, let it be as it is. Just you have to add a few steps, that is to this pom.xml. Now if you come back to GitHub and you see this pom.xml exists inside this IT Learn framework folder. This is how it's stored in Git. So what you have to do here is just copy this folder name and before pom, pass this folder with this /. Done. Stored. Basically the informations are stored. So how simple it is. You have uploaded to Git, just copied the GitHub link. Here in pom, just you mention the folder with pom, do apply, do save, click on build now. And now you see this build is working. So basically, console output. In console output, you'll see it's happening. So now the Chrome driver starts. Again, the test case works and it's working fine. So here you have learned all the three ways of integrating the projects just from Eclipse, from Maven, and the third one from GitHub. So it's very simple. Just follow the same steps. Like few steps, it's like I have already, it's available there and I'm doing it, but follow the same thing as it is written. Follow the same way and you will get all the things as it is. So now here the project is done, configuration is done, uploaded to the GitHub as well as added to the Jenkins. You have run this thing on Jenkins. So I hope the complete package of Selenium frameworks that you are looking for is done here. So this comes to the end of this frameworks part where we have covered each and every sections. We have tried to keep it as simple as possible and use it to the best uses. So now by this, I end this video for Selenium frameworks. See you with another technologies. I'll be coming up with new languages and new things for you. Stay tuned and don't forget to click the subscribe button to get the latest update. Till then, bye bye. Take care.